welcome Brother Bernard Franklin, Kansas State 75, to the stage.
So what does it all mean? I want to get real clear, real quick to our theme. We're living in a global community where technology and people are coming together. So I have an hour and a half with you to talk about being a global citizen in times of great change. And I'm going to go through some slides. I have a panel that's going to come sit on stage, but I want to be a big brother to some little brothers. I want to have a conversation with you that's very straight, that's very direct. And I need you to understand that I'm doing this out of love and compassion for you. And that if it sounds like I'm being direct, if it sounds like I'm being candid, if it sounds like I'm being somewhat forceful, you are right. Because brothers, you don't have time to sit around and play. You don't have time to sit around and waste time. You don't have time to sit around and wait for this global community to come in position, because it's already in process of being in position. And so I just want to talk with you about it, because I want you to be more successful than I am. That's what I tell my sons. I have 3 sons, 30, 21, and 19. And I tell them the next generation should be more successful, not necessarily make more money, but have greater impact than this generation. So you should have more than I should. You heard some of my story, 24, working at AT&T, one of 6 hired in a management fast-track program. AT&T at that time hired 6 leaders from around the country, brought them into middle management, and in 5 to 6 years, we were to be at a higher level in the organization. My first management job was to manage the TWA account. You don't remember TWA, some of you. Trans World Airlines. It was based in Kansas City. I had not worked for a telephone company. I knew nothing about fiber optics. I knew nothing about watt systems. I'm managing brothers, men who had climbed telephone poles to get to AT&T. My budget was $15 million. And I came from a family that my parents wrote me a check for $30 a month, and that was my expense allowance at K-State. And I leave K-State and I go manage a $15 million budget. Why? How? Because of my undergraduate experience. Yeah, I was student body president, but more importantly, I was a fraternity man. I'd gotten connected with a group of men that were going somewhere, who were not just talking trash, not just hanging around talking about cute girls, party. We were talking about the world. We disliked the Vietnam War. We were upset with how women were being treated. We were upset about race in America. We had those discussions, baby. So I was ready. I was ready for those white guys. They said, he's not even wet behind the ears yet. What is he doing managing us? All right. 2 years later, my brother's Martin Luther King III's roommate at Morehouse College. I meet Mrs. King. Mrs. King calls and says, we're friends with President Carter. He wants to appoint some young people to a commission to advise the Carter White House on issues, and we think you'll be a good candidate to advise him on higher education issues. 26 years old. How did I get there? My undergraduate experience, baby. You following me? Okay, stay with me. Before then, I was appointed to the Kansas Board of Regents, youngest ever, 24. Our board in Kansas are senior members of the community who've made contributions to the governor, to either party. They get appointed. I haven't made any money. I'm not making any contribution. I'm 24 years old, and I'm appointed. So that's how I was able to give advice to the Carter White House. 28, I'm chair of the board. So what's the implications for you? You should do better. You should do better. You should leave your campus, and some of you go be CEOs, CFOs, lead campaigns, walk into the White House and help the White House understand technology. But too many of you will miss opportunities, and you're going to move home and you're going to live with your parents. At best, you may get a fast food job. At best. Some of you will drive a taxi. Some of you will wonder how you're going to make ends meet. You know why? Because you're going to sit around and waste time. Waste opportunities like this to get ahead. Waste opportunities like this to get some phone numbers, some contacts, some email addresses, have some conversation with some alums who are doing something at this institution. Just because you want to get to the French Quarter, you can't wait to get to the French Quarter to get your high on. You know what my motto was? It still is today. I can always get high later. I can always do that later. I couldn't stand the taste of suds anyway. It wasn't until I was about 28, 29 that I finally said a Coors was cool. I wasn't wrapped up in that. I come from dirt poor. I was not going back to dirt poor. I was not going back to a street corner. I was not going to be like my friends and end up in prison. Bull, corn, crap, whatever you want to call it, I was going somewhere. And I was determined to line myself up with men who are on the move. So I want to go through a series of slides, and then my panel is going to come up. We're living in exponential time. So stop. Whatever you're doing, pull out a piece of paper. You got a blank page. 25 years from now, I will be where? 25 years from now, what will you be doing? 25 years from now, come on. Don't think small. You don't even have to let your neighbors see what you're doing. Because, see, sometimes when we think big, people laugh at us. You know what my thinking big was? I wanted to be the first African-American president. Now, I wasn't telling a lot of my friends that, and I don't even know if I told that many of my fraternity brothers. But you can imagine what I felt like when I got to the White House. That was my dream to get there. I had no idea, 26, I'd be walking into the White House, sitting with some of America's elite, advising the president. Friends, when you shoot for something, chances are the universe is going to do what it can to get you there. And too many of you don't have a plan, don't know where you're going, in a global community. 25 years from now, put it down. Come on, write it down. And a few of you, when we're done, have the courage to come to me tonight and tell me what you're thinking. Let's have some conversation in the House of Blues. Let's turn that place into a house of celebration. Ain't no House of Blues. We're going to celebrate the rafters down, because some of you are going to get a kick, a clue, a plan. You're going to move. So, 25 years from now, this is where we're going.